I mean, the one activity that I actually got to be a part of, the red-black game, was mildly interesting. Because, I mean, I kind of, mildly, just mildly interesting. No, because, yeah, it was also like I was on the wrong, who was on the wrong team? I was on the wrong team? I was on the right team, right, Lauren?
Had a crazy time. Yeah.
I had a great time.
Turmoil.
Oh, we were chilling. We were just twerking in between.
Yeah, like it was very collaborative. Noelle was a fantastic leader, and I feel like she just stepped into the position like very seamlessly, and like she's very considerate of everyone. Very like, okay, this is what I think, but like, what do you guys think? And so it was very collaborative. There wasn't any type of division, to be honest. We'd have different opinions. There wasn't anyone at each other's throats. Yeah, there wasn't any resentment in our decision. It was, even if there were different opinions, we all would come to a consensus together.
Yeah, it'd be us too. Yeah. Ditto.
Yeah.
Ditto. I would just say, okay, I'm not gonna lie, our group was rough. Our group was fucking rough. Stress ball changed to the max because one of my best friends is Koki, and he's in the company, and I love him. We've been friends and best friends for years, but he's a stubborn motherfucker. He is stubborn as shit. He's very, 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 very stubborn. And yeah, for him it's black and white, and I'm like, but there's gray. And he's like, no, there is not. So I feel like as one of the older members, being 25, how dare you? I'm 25, BC. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I've been through a lot of shit that I try not to let much stress me out. And Koki very much so lets things stress him out. So it was very evident during this activity that he's like, we have to win. What is the option of choosing black? There's no point of it. I was like, you're right, there is no point of it. But like, why be basic? It's like playing rock, paper, scissors and always choosing rock and never changing. Like, you could win or you couldn't, and it just could be really boring, and that's life. So it was really interesting because our group definitely had a huge division where it was like that awkward, tense silence that no one wanted to talk because we were upset with each other, and we're just like,
oh wow.
The top on the difference of energies between the two teams.
Noelle's group, when I'd go there, it just seemed like they were just casually talking, and like if I just gave them a bottle of wine, it looked like they were just having a casual discussion about everything, and it would just be like, all right, are we on the same page? Yeah. Who feels different? Why? And then it's like, okay, cool. And it's like kind of the consensus more often than not came quickly. And everyone, like with the exception of people going to the bathrooms, everyone stayed in the same place. Everyone was comfortable. Whenever I go back to Alondra's group, the first time I saw, like, the first few times, I saw Koki and Brandon and everyone just saying, like, what's the point? What's the point of it getting black? Like, why risk it? Why risk it? And like, like everyone's getting at each other's, yes, upset. Yeah. And then it was getting to a point where I saw people people just going to the balcony, and then I think at one point I saw Brandon cleaning instead, because
it's back.
Because apparently when Brandon's stressed, he likes to clean.
Well, I just like to be productive in general. So in my line of work, I tell my patients when they try to fight with me on the phone and they start yelling and screaming, I'll say, look, I'm respecting you, you respect me. If they can't do that, then I say, this is not going to be a productive conversation. I'm going to end this call. Or, and that's how I run my life. If it's not going to be productive, there's no reason for us to continue this conversation. So I've explained multiple times, and mind you, I'm speaking. I explained it to Koki, but Koki's like, but no, it doesn't make sense. And I'm like, you're right, it doesn't. But this is what we're saying, and this is why. And it's really funny because I kept calm the whole time, and then he kept saying no until Alondra called him out, which I thought that was hilarious.
Alondra?
Elijah goes, well, because I explained myself and I forgot someone else did. And he's like, I just don't understand why you guys are choosing this. Nobody's saying anything. And Elijah goes, actually, I feel like, Koki, they have been saying everything to you. They've actually explained their reasoning why. I just don't think it's the answer that you want to hear, so you're getting upset. And I was like, yes, Elijah. And that's when he was just like,
With a very, very
very common voice, yes.
It was
Yeah.
I should
so
imagine it too.
that's when he started shutting down. He was like, that's fine. Yeah, we can just go with black, fine. I was like, okay. I mean, we got to the same answer, but he was just upset. And I was like, I'm so glad that somebody said that, because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, we already explained everything. It's just not the answer that you want us to say. But yeah, so I think once the conversation was not productive and he was just going to be upset regardless. And then as we're sitting there in silence, just like, I was like, I'm going to clean. I need to be productive in some way. And I can't just sit here in like tense air. So I was just like, okay, let me know when he's back. I'm going to be cleaning up. And people were like checking out, vaping out in the balcony, walking away or on their cell phones. And I was like, all right, well, pick up your trash. Does anybody need any water or anything? Okay, great. I'll be right back. But yeah, that's what happened.
I was filming like the majority of us, like a Noelle's group. I was just filming like a majority of it, and then like, so probably you'll hear like snippets of just like conversations. We're just like doing some like random like speculations of like which direction they're going. Like, oh, but Koki's on their team. Like, he's gonna want to win. He's gonna want to win. And Brandon's on that team too. He might also. We were just like, it's like, okay. So if they go this way, they're most likely gonna go this way. And we were like, and then what we did was we ended up picking black first to like, we essentially kind of numerically, quote unquote, screwed ourselves, not knowing the actual rules of the game. But we numerically screwed ourselves, and we were just like, you know what? Let's show our hand early and see where this goes. So we essentially used it as a test as to what you guys would do.
I think that's really funny, because when you guys did do that, it threw Koki off, because that also didn't make sense to him.
Yep.
So he was like,
Figured.
why would they choose that? And I'm like, because it's not choosing rock every time, playing rock, paper, scissors. That's why. This is because it's a change. And he's like, well, now. And I was like, you see how there's no point to this? Because then people started creating things, because even Joy was like, wait, what if they win? Do they get like ice cream or something?
Oh yeah, that's right. We wanted an extra.
And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, what if they get ice cream? And I was like, if they get ice cream and they win, then I'll get ice cream for all of us and I'll buy it. I was like, it's not a big deal. This is not even a serious game, you guys. And I was like, everybody's getting so mad right now, and this is literally a game about two colors. I don't understand why you guys are so upset. So yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
So I aligned with Koki more. Remember that?
Get out.
But
You were so aggressive, but like,
Quiet.
where Koki was aggressive, like, let's go. You're
Locally, yeah.
like, no, let's win.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing. Like, we just, like, this was the route to win. And I remember talking to Alondra, right?
Elijah.
Keep saying her name wrong. Alondra, I'm so sorry. My tongue doesn't work. We had like differing opinions always, but our first objective that was like decided upon is we hit red and we win. I mean, if both teams played the same like route, like the whole entire team would lose at the end, right? That's what we concluded. So it's just funny that both groups didn't get that instruction clearly, and that just changed the whole game from just like, well, shoot. We should have communicated better, because now it turns from like going against each other to whoever makes that first move to black to we're trying to convince the other team to do black to get the most points, which is crazy.
Also, what I will say, I thought it kind of funny. And the aggressive people that were like, no, fuck them, we're gonna fucking win. When they changed their color and they were gonna lose regardless, they're like, well, maybe we should choose a different color so they don't lose as bad.
Yeah,
Like those little.
I remember saying that.
Like,
I'm like, I don't want to like kill them off. Maybe like they leave with one eye.
Yeah. So they're like, well, instead of them losing at like -40, what if they just like have -10? Like they still lose, but it's not that bad. I was like, you guys, this is sick. Not that serious. It's going way deeper than what I would want to anything to connect to.
I just wanted to be funny and not like completely blow them out. Like I wanted to win, but like,
And the silence killed us, I'll be honest. Because there was multiple times that multiple members on our group were like, honestly, I'm not having that much fun right now. And I was like, yeah. We're like, I'm not really having that much fun right now, but like, I just want to get through this game and we can't get through this game. And I was like, yeah. I was like, we also can't like get an answer. So just say the answer and we have conversations in between. And that's what I'm saying. It got really intense. And I'm just like, oh my God, I hate everyone.
I definitely got the second part, like just try and get through this game.
Yeah.
So whatever manipulation of time you did to grow our stress, it worked.
It worked. Stress.
Yeah, so that worked. And then I also got, it's not that serious, right? Like we could just pick whatever and be done with the game and figure out like what's going on.
Yeah.
Everyone was waiting for like some sort of twist, and I feel like that's the time. That was the whole like.
There was a sort of twist, but it was like, here's what was said versus what was interpreted.
Yeah, I have a question. Then, would you play that game where you give like a paper of the rules to the team, or it's just by word?
The way I played it was the rules were written out next to the board.
Got it.
So we had a little bit back then. It was
You could see it.
You could see it, yeah.
So we had one of those big whiteboards that the right next to it were just the rules. And whenever we asked for clues or anything else, all they said was the rules, word for word. And then that's all we would get. And then the way they delivered it would be very stern, which would just make us hide the emotions of not getting the answer and why.
Looking back to it, to be honest, like I didn't get the rules at first, and I totally relied on Koki's interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
I know I asked you a few questions, but those were relating to like twists and turns. I was like, it's correct, right? And all that. But I mean, yeah, I did rely on his interpretation, and it made sense. So, yeah. So I guess I should have asked for myself, like, can I hear it again?
That's one thing that I thought that was interesting was that, like, when I played the game, we asked how many times what. But all they said was the rules, and it was never like, it was almost as if it was assumed that you're supposed to get it the first time. The wording is the wording to, again, word salad, which creates the interpretation.
Yeah.
And which is like, man, like, okay, as some people ask clarification within the way why not this whole tangent of what do you think it was which created this, and then the whole point of it was to see the different egos that come out.
Yes.
And that's one of the biggest points. So like, it's just like something so small. How can it affect just a simple decision of brand or black? And then how does that show up everywhere else?
That's the thing that I was trying to tell everybody. That was the fight in our group. The fight that Koki and I kept on having was, he was saying, well, what's the point? What's the point of you choosing black? You know, in order to win, you need points. And I was like, we're talking about two different aspects of this game. There is the point of the game, which is very different than points to the game. And I was like, I think getting points to the game is what you're focused on, but there's a point of the game that you're missing. And I was like, this is a retreat, so obviously it's not just like, hey, let's just choose a color and win. Like, there's something more, so I feel like we have to choose black to figure out what there is to find out about it. That doesn't make sense. I was like, yeah, correct. And he's like, so then if we get the black, we're going to lose points. Correct. And then what? I don't know. I don't know what happens next. We don't know. But that's life. Yeah. And he was just like, ugh.
Yeah. The thing that also that people were forgetting was that if we both choose black, then we both get points. So that was one aspect. In our group, it was like, okay, if we do red, then we don't lose anything. But if we do red, and then so we were trying to decipher a pattern. So then, like, there came a point where it's like, okay, wait, we're just all losing. But what if we actually if we do choose black and then they choose black, then we both start winning. So that was a thought process that we had. And it's like, there's a possibility of them choosing red and then they get more points than us. But then there's also the possibility of us both gaining points and both moving up together. So it was like, which one do we want to do? What's like, and if they choose red again, like, okay, like, sure, they might want to get more points than us. Yeah. But what if we keep trying to push towards black again? Will they change? Will we start trying to move forward and like both get points together? And that was the thought process that I know I had. And I know that some people were like, you know what? Like, we're gonna lose. Let's just choose black. Like, let's just keep doing it. Let's do it to spite them. Let's do it to gaslight them. Yes. Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. So that was stay on the 10. Okay, come on. Keep that in there. Stay on the 10.
There's also like the purpose of the game was if you win, we all win. But it was very much, it goes to the whole thing of like, I'm gonna get mine. I want to get my points.